recording? Yep.
Recording in progress.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to your official Shamanic Goddess for 2024 at the Shamanic Life Shift Circle. This has been one of my favorite circles to do, and I'm so glad that you're going to be here so we can do this together across the miles, across the time zones, across the dates for some people, so that we can together use the group experience, the group energy to bring the goddess alive in our lives for 2024. So I always begin by calling in sacred medicine space and smudging everyone. I'm going to start with smudging. And when I do this, even if you're watching this afterward, you can still receive the smudging because, again, it goes beyond time and space. So everybody just kind of get comfortable where you're sitting. Take in a breath. Your roots sinking into the earth. Take another breath. Extend your branches up into the stars. And with your final breath, final of 3, just relax, letting some air out. And I invite the sacred smoke to start clearing you from the top of your head, around your third eye, your throat. Ooh, opening up that throat chakra. Your heart. The middle of your body. Your belly. And your roots all the way to Mother Earth. Aho. All right. Now I'm going to use my rattle. In fact, I'm actually going to use, I have my big rattle with me. I'm going to use my little rattle because this feels very appropriate for Zoom. And one of my, Laura, some of you know Laura Keller, she gave it to me many years ago, and I really like to use it for Zoom. So we're going to use this wonderful little native made rattle. And when I do this, I am inviting all of our guides to surround us with love and light while we go into a sacred medicine space together and do our work. When I speak this prayer, you are invited to have your own idea of who your shamanic allies are and your own personal invitation going out to them. And it comes from Peru, from the Incan shamans there, and has my own experiences woven in. So let's do this together. And I'm going to hold the rattle here because if I do it over here, it disappears. Funny, huh? Okay. Oh, ancestors. See all of us here with you now. We honor your ways. Come be with us. We call to our power animals, helping spirits, star family, and soul tribe. You who have been with us on these many earth walks, to join us again in sacred medicine space. Hear us, winds of the south, as we call to you, and to Sachamama, great serpent, the transformation element of fire, and the shedding of skins, the wounds of the past that no longer belong with us. They did their job, but we need to let them go. Help us come into right alignment with our own magic, able to recreate ourselves every day as we call in the goddess to show us the way. Aho. And we call to the winds of the east, of the west, to Utorongo, jaguar, to the element of water, whether it is frozen, flowing, falling, or vaporous. The element of water connects, heals, feeds, and we invite this feeling of being nurtured to follow and be with also the experience of the West, which is to dive into the shadows, to reclaim our power from the darkness, to come into right alignment with the past, and die to what no longer serves. Guide us and protect us. Otorongo, aho. We call to the winds of the north and the ancient ones, grandmothers and grandfathers, and royal hummingbird Satakente. For we seek right alignment with time itself, to be present here and now, where we can truly ground the wisdom you've carried through the many, many generations and live the good life, to be in right alignment with our own agreement to incarnate and be here. Guide us and protect us on our journey tonight. Aho. Hear us, winds of the east, as we call to you, to the element of air, the breath of the world, to the eagle and condor. Come, be with us, be with us. Help us to vision, to come into right alignment with the new world we are dreaming into being, the future that is ours to create. Let the pain, shame, drama, trauma, guilt, and fear that's been part of our lives and part of our lineage and part of our feminine half, if you will, help us let that go so that we can embrace the love and compassion that truly wants to live in our hearts. Be with us, guide us, and protect us. Aho. Hear us, Pachamama, Great Earth Mother, as we sink our roots into you. We reach out to each other and to all our relations, the plant people, the stone people, thin, furred, feathered, the two-legged, the four-legged, and the many-legged. We are one people, one planet, Mama. Help us remember we all belong. Guide us and protect us. Aho. Great Spirit, Father Sun, Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sky, Great Star Nation, Ho, come, be with us, be with us. Help us to be open to all the possibilities while still keeping track of what our priorities are, so we can walk the good red road, making the choices that are in alignment with our soul purpose, even as all the distractions would call us in 1,000,000 directions and more. Help us trust we will find our way home. You who have 1,000 names, but whose name is unknown, join us, guide us, protect us. Aho. Okay. Feels really good. Thank you all for being part of the opening. And what I'd like you to do right now is, if you wish, drop into the chat whatever you would like to in regard to a word or two about what the goddess, the feminine, has felt like for you throughout 2023. So that could be, oh, I really took a dive into my feminine side, or, oh, I did this last year and I was working with the goddess Artemis and I feel really wise now, or, oh, I feel like I've been so far away from my feminine self that I didn't even really connect to her all year. She was just whining all the time. You know, whatever it is that comes up for you. Put your name in. Yeah, there you go. Start putting some things in there where you know what has been a general statement you could make, or precise if you have something really specific. Like if you became a mom, gosh, that's a big feminine experience. Or you stopped talking to your mom, that's a big feminine experience. So put something in there. Oh, Jill put something in. She's thinking that her feminine, or her relationship to the feminine, is a little like on the angry side right now. And that could be. I myself, even though I do these circles and I talk frequently about how I'm supporting the feminine, I will fight with my masculine side, because that side of me wants to push, push, go, go. I have my Mars in Capricorn, which you could say means push, push, go, go, plan, 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 plan. And that's pretty strong, especially since I'm coming into a Mars return this year. So I really have to schedule spending time with my feminine side. Like if I go to get my hair conditioned, because that's what someone like me does. When you have long hair, you spend more time getting it conditioned than trim. I have to like make myself do it, put it in my calendar, because it's like, oh, this is going to take a couple hours. I have to drive there and do that. It's only getting conditioned, but it still takes time. And I have been very much resistant to a lot of feminine things. So it's not good to do that. We all have a feminine side, whether you're a man, a woman, or however you are identified at this time. There's a feminine aspect to you. We've got two coils in our DNA, the two sides of that ladder, and when they're entwined and forming our DNA strands and chromosomes, they're representing the light and the dark, the feminine, the masculine, the yin and the yang. And so you can't deny part of you is masculine and part of you is feminine. Candace just talked about wanting to release and relearn her feminine side. That's an interesting way to go, to literally ask your concept of the feminine to die so that you can rebirth her, give her the phoenix treatment, so to speak. And that is not a bad plan. It's kind of up to you where you're at. It's something that you will tap into more deeply as we go along here. And hopefully, this, what we do right now isn't a beginning, a middle, and an end. It is a great and gentle start to what your experience can be going forward, being aware of and in deeper relationship with your feminine side. So let's go over here. I have an outline because everybody knows I like to do that. You're going to want to make sure that you have with you, I like a written journal. I'm very much about it. I have several journals. I have journals for different purposes, and I actually have them in different rooms depending on the purpose. So you're going to be encouraged to have a journal so you can write some things down. If you, oh no, Mara, I type everything on my computer. Okay, go ahead and do that. I just recommend that. I also recommend that you have a candle lit. Like I have my candle lit right here. I really hope you have one lit. And while you're doing that, I'm going to read a few things that people are writing and throwing into the fire. And this is an important part of what we do. You're sharing right now on our chat. And if you're watching this later, you can just share and comments, because this will be a video you can comment on. You can share in comments. Or you can just send me an email, say, Mara, I released this, and the goddess meant this to me in 2023, and I released this in the fire, because I'm inviting you to use this fire ceremony right now. Fire ceremony is so potent and so powerful, and there's a few different versions of it. This particular one, we're just tossing into the fire something we want to release. So what you may want to release, I'm sorry, I'm getting weird little thingies here that are showing me options of stuff that I don't need to do. What is it that you need to release from your own personal field, your own reservoir? Like today, I'm going to tell you something scary. You want to hear something scary? Okay. So today I'm having lunch with Katie, who's my dear soul sister. She's the woman who is primarily responsible for me choosing to be a shamanic practitioner, because if Katie decides you're going to do something, you're going to do it. Pretty much. Anyway, but she's also like the dear sister. Our birthdays are one day plus 13 years apart, and anyway, so she was talking about her own story she had in her mind about what her later years would be like. What would it be like to be older, right? And what's her life going to be in her future decades? And as she was saying that, I realized I'd had a story, and I'd been reviewing it lately because I was sick. And when you're sick is when you have more negative thoughts. And I'm also someone who audits her negative thoughts on a daily basis, right? Like I'm always checking, what is my negative self-talk? And, oh gosh, got to catch that. What can I do with it? So I realized, and this is a confession, okay? I realized I have had this very depressing story that my old age is not going to go well. Like I'll probably stay pretty healthy, but and I'm so sorry, I apologize for this, but I have had not very good stories around money as far as what it's going to be like when I get older. I seem to have this gaposis in believing that there will be more money. I know you're supposed to get Social Security, but we all know what that's like, right? Nobody can live on that. And so, like, there'll be no retirement. Not that I was planning to retire exactly, but I would, imagine I'm going to want to slow down, right? But I just have this story, right? And I realized I have to spend some time rewriting that story. And quite honestly, I'm going to make you guys write it with me. I think we're going to do one of our circles on this. Like, what is the story you're writing for your future, and how do you want to change that? Not because you have to visualize, XYZ to get it, so much as you want to clean up any stories from this life or past lives that are blocking you from going where you could go. It's blocking opportunity and gifts that could come in. So I'm super inspired to work on that, and I'll be throwing that out there for you guys. Maybe we'll do that in the March circle, because I already know what we're going to do for February. So anyway, throw here in this fire. Put it in the chat, and I'll speak up, like throwing in feelings of lack and stress. I threw my story about aging in here. I'm going to throw in some things that people shared and pull it out, so I'm not saying names all the time. Lots of chaos and lack of alignment. Yeah, let's throw that in there. Want to let go of self-judgment. Think of the things that you want to let go of and pop them into our chat, and then I can speak to that a little bit. Limiting beliefs. Yes. Yeah, we don't want that. Getting the yips around doing things for your business, like a lot of us are self-employed. And so in this day and age, you gotta be out there. You gotta have your face out there. You gotta say things. You gotta make videos. And the yips, for those of you who don't know what that is, the yips is like you've been good at something and suddenly now you're not. Like a pitcher in baseball suddenly not throwing enough strikes. Or like me in pickleball, I would play really well, and then all of a sudden I'd play really stinky. I had the yips. So you can do something, and all of a sudden you can't do it. That has to go. So put the yips in there. Fear of change. Yeah. We fear change. That is hardwired. There are some people that are born risk takers, and they have literally a different chemistry. But most of us are hardwired to seek safety, and safety is represented by lack of change, which is why ego level changes are hard, because your ego is trying to keep you alive, which means don't change, don't change, don't change. So I love that came up, fear of change. Being overly responsible. Yeah, I gotta tell you just don't have that power. I don't have that power. I can't fix everything. I can't make the world stop polluting itself. I can't make my neighbor treat their dog differently. And I just can't be responsible for so many of these things that my brain will not shut up about. So those are more things. So doing this with this fire right here is great. And then I also have a process that's more, it's a Peruvian ceremony. And if you're interested in it, send me an email or text me or something, and I will send you the link for that. I've got a write-up and a video. Yep, I made a video. I didn't have the yips that day, and it helps you to do that type of fire ceremony as well. So thank you, everybody, for throwing things in the fire. Woohoo! Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I want to talk a little bit about just some little quick details about things. I'm going to put us on pause for just a moment.
Recording in progress.
All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of explanation about why I do this circle every year. And the reason for me is that, as I was saying at the beginning, half of you is technically feminine. Everybody has an X chromosome. Everyone is a product of a male-female union, ova and sperm. Not talking about sexual identity as a consciousness, but as a biology. And those resonances of feminine and masculine are in all of us. And so to know your masculine side and to know your feminine side is essential to create the peace you want between the two of them. So your masculine isn't beating you up on your feminine, or your feminine isn't undermining your masculine. There's just so many permutations of it being out of balance. So when you tap into your goddess for 2024, you are being brought into relationship with a consciousness, an archetype that will help you. It will be a gateway for you for other experiences of the feminine. So it isn't like, oh, I only work with one goddess archetype all year. I'm just going to be with Lakshmi, which means I'm always about abundance and seeking out abundance and friends and experiences and travel and money, 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 money. Yes, and Lakshmi may have to help you connect with abundance of tears or abundance of challenges or abundance of options where you need to talk to other aspects of your feminine in order to understand what choices you want to make. So your feminine guide, your gateway goddess, is what we're going to focus on tonight, and that may also be your primary goddess for the year, or she may take you to another one. It's kind of interesting how that could work out. So I want to, in past years, if you've done this with me before, think of goddesses you've worked with in the past. I'm going to mention a couple of goddesses right now. One for me was super powerful. This happened probably like 13 years ago, I'd say. And I'd have to go dig in through all my writings and things to find out when. But and this was something where I did not access this goddess during a journey. I was literally in the bathroom, wiping a counter, putting everything away after getting all gussied up for the day. And I hear this really intense voice. And in my work, my version of shamanic work, I don't hear voices that often. I have telepathic communications, or as a different kind of hearing while you're in a journey. But I heard it while I was standing there in the bathroom. And it was like somebody was calling in a strong whisper across the room, Brigitte. Kind of scary, but not, And I felt this cold and I felt this sound. And I was like, what is that? And I looked in the mirror, and my eyes, I don't know what color they look like here in this video, but they became this intense icy blue, just like intense blue, like an iceberg blue. Okay. And I had kind of a weird experience of looking at my face. It wasn't like my normal face. And I know that could sound scary to some, but it wasn't to me, because I've been doing shamanic work for a while, and I was like, hey, whatever. And I was really open. I was like, who is this? What is this? And then it's Brigitte, or Bridget, the fire, and she was coming to work with me. And that was my goddess for the year. That was it. I knew I was to work with her. And I experienced her more of her warrior, fiery side, as opposed to her home and hearth side. So Brigitte is the triple goddess, and she does have multiple aspects. And that was it. And that was a year that I needed to really kind of step more into my power and not focus as much on home and hearth. So that was super interesting for me. And so you can definitely get your shamanic god, and we have someone else coming in right now. Your shamanic goddess can definitely be somebody who is bringing you in to strengthen an aspect of your character, of your way of being in the world that you need it helped out, and you can definitely get her showing up for you. She may have been showing up for you before you even came into this circle tonight. Another year, I got my goddess not through setting up my shamanic goddess for the year. I think this was before I even did that. This is why I was in really super deep studies to become a practitioner, even though I didn't know that's what I was going to do. I was just doing deep studies because shamanism fascinated me, and I wanted to have the experience of the deep healing and become really proficient at journeying and getting good messages and healing. And there was just all kinds of stuff I was working on, which I probably could still work on. I mean, there's always something, right? Anyway, in that process, the goddess Ishel came to me. And Ishel is a South American goddess. And I didn't know who this goddess was. I never heard of her. And when she was saying her name, and it was really like her people, all these little guys who were like her minions. Oh yeah, it was like they were minions. That's a great way to put it. They were calling her Ishel, and I didn't know who this was. And she turned out to be a really fierce fertility and sensuality goddess when she was working with me. She is written up in Amy Sophia Marashinsky's book, The Goddess Oracle. She's written up as a creation goddess, creativity, weaving, moon goddess. But if you go to other texts, they talk about her being a fertility goddess, midwife goddess, goddess of childbirth. She's fierce. She's fierce. So she worked with me for a year. And then, of course, there have been the many times that I've done journeys to specifically call in a goddess and work with her for the year, and do that as part of the circle experience that we're doing today. So I would like to tell you that I took a specific journey for this goddess, and I did, but she showed up before I took the journey, and I didn't realize it. Her images were coming to me as artwork from other people, and they would call her by different names. But when I did the journey, boom, she was there in my face. And I do the journey differently than how I present it to you, because I like to give you a gradual experience to help you really sink in. And I'm used to just, I dive in and boom, stuff happens. And she's in my face, and I'm like, you? I don't know anything about you. You're not in any of my card decks, okay? She's not in any of my card decks. I've never studied this particular type of shamanism. I know it remotely, but I really haven't dived into it. And I feel, are you sure? She stares at me, of course, I'm sure. So this goddess is the Kaliak, or Keliach. It's a concept of the hag, the crone, the ultimate goddess in the UK, the British Isles, Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland, the Celtic experience. She is the goddess of winter, so she becomes the equinox. She becomes the goddess that is collecting all the wood to burn the fires for the winter time and keep us warm. And then when we get to the spring equinox, if she doesn't have enough wood, then Brigitte, Brigitte. She is. Oh, I just put those things together, huh? She's the goddess of the summer and the warmth and the hearth and the fire. So she takes over, and all of this actually relates to Groundhog Day. So on February 2nd, which is Imbolc, we will have the official cross quarter day before we get to the equinox of in March, and she will, if the Kaliach runs out of firewood, and she goes out to try to collect firewood, but it's too stormy and dark. She can't get any wood. So that means spring is going to come because the Kaliach can't keep her fires going. Brigitte is going to win. But if it's a sunny, beautiful day and she can go out and get the firewood, or the groundhog can see its shadow, well, there'll be however many more weeks of winter, depending, I don't know the actual the current myth of the groundhog. But I just thought, wow, I didn't realize that those two stories were so deeply connected. We demoted the goddess to a groundhog, but in the end, the stories are always rich. They go from culture to culture about what the goddess does and how she acts throughout the year. And the Kaliach for me is embracing the winter, embracing the wisdom that comes with years, embracing like my own oddities, which I've always known I was weird. Okay. I used to try to not be weird. Now I'm like, okay, I'm just weird. Fine, I'll be weird. And my oddities are going to become easier and easier for me to accept. I plan to embrace that poem, "When I am old, I shall wear purple." It's called Warning, and it's written by Jenny Joseph, who happens to be Scottish, back in 1961. And I love that poem. Other crones I've known loved that poem, and I probably became aware of it through them. And so if you want to look it up sometime, or maybe I'll pop it into the email that I send after we do this, I think you might find an element of yourself that's ready to cut loose and not be feeling constrained and contained by all the ideas we have around us of what it is to be feminine and to be a good person. So anyway, I really loved that. So when I was coming into relationship with the Kaliach, and I need to do more, this is fresh and new for me. So I will be doing things like I'll be getting more art around her, and I'll make prints, and I'll have them up here around in my office and probably in my healing room. I will be taking journeys with her and asking for healing and wisdom. And last week I took a journey with her, and I was really in a place of turmoil over some things. I was having a hard time grounding, getting centered, even being available for someone to impart their wisdom to me, whether they were human or archetypal or a goddess or a power animal. I knew I was resistant to any input because I was overfull with my stress. So I did take a journey, and she immediately shows up, and she's like saying, it's going to be okay, And she walks around me, okay, to stand behind me, and then she steps into me. Now, this is a shamanic experience where you merge with a power animal or a goddess. And when you merge with them, it's very healing. You're receiving their medicine in the most direct way possible. So she stepped into me. I could feel our heart chakras aligning, and a big release, a big burst of energy coming out of me, and a calming. I had more roots. I could sink into the earth better. I could feel her holding me through a very difficult emotional space, like a grandma would. You know what I mean? Everybody has somebody in their life that it was like that with, that they could hold you and you felt better. So that was my experience, and from that I knew, okay, I am going to be working with this goddess, and I'm going to find out so much more about myself. So I want to read you this little poem about the Kaliach, the winter hag. I am frost on the ground. I am the winter cold wind. I am the rough sea wave, and I am the bare tree branch. I am the fur coat of the winter hare. Now I am the young maiden, now aged and wise. I am the hag of Bera, and I am the ancient earth herself. This is something else you can do as you come into relationship with your goddess. Find something, some statement that makes you like feel her presence. It could be lyrics to a song. It could be something you write yourself. It could be a meme. I mean, that's the thing, right? Everything's a meme now. But it could be a poem like this that speaks to essences of the goddess that has come in for you and how you might begin to vibrate with that, to have your own resonance come in with that. That was from Bean Fisa. I don't know, it's an Irish word. So tonight, what we're going to do together is meet our shamanic goddess, and we're going to do that by working with some decks of cards. I'm going to ask everybody, I'm going to first put this on hold for just a second. I'm going to pause this.
Recording in progress.
All right, back to me. So this is really hard to see. I'm sorry about that, but this, if you could see it, you'd see the goddess Sophia. Sophia is, I believe, a Greek goddess, and she is the goddess of the moon, of creativity. She is always shown as pregnant because she's always pregnant with possibilities. Goddess of wisdom, knowledge. So Sophia, if she shows up for you this year, you're going to be increasing your knowledge base. You're going to be taking care of the baby that you want to birth, whether it's an actual child or it's a project you have going on for work, for home, for your life, for school, for whatever it is that you're growing and nurturing, coming into relationship with. Okay, so I have somebody who has a question. Cynthia, what would you like to ask?
So when I draw the card, is that the goddess I'm going to be working with then for 2024?
It's going to be the goddess you're working with tonight. And when we get into the Zoom, the guided journey, then she'll be there, but she might introduce you to another goddess.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So you kind of get like she becomes what I call your gateway goddess.
Yeah, I just pulled mine, and mine was Nut.
Oh, I love Nut. Have you? Do you mind being on camera?
No, that's fine.
Okay, let's go get you. Here you are. Ta-da! Okay, whoops, you went off.
I think my phone's acting up.
Oh well.
Oh, there
you are. Okay, so you got Nut. Do you want to show her on your? Can you hold her up to your screen?
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, you have the same deck I do. I love it. So, do you know Nut? Have you worked with her before?
No, I haven't.
Well, she's another Egyptian goddess, and she is the night sky. She is the wife of Geb, who is the earth. In the Egyptian pantheon, the earth is more masculine and the sky is more feminine. It's the other way around from what we do. And they were like so in love, the ultimate lovers. Nut was actually married to the chief god, the head Puba, the Ra, or Amun Ra. The name I can't quite remember. And she had a mad fling with Geb, and he was mad. So he decided to separate them forever. She's the earth, she's the sky, he's the earth, and they can't be together then. They're always separate. But in the 5 days before that, before he did this to them, they gave birth to all the other gods and goddesses. They got down, they got busy, they made things happen. So she is the ultimate mother goddess. All the possibilities come from her. She is like the Maya, the idea of the total formlessness from which all things are formed.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting because you pull Bas, that's an Egyptian goddess. And then
we have a theme. We have a theme.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah, that could very well be the one that you end up working with, Cynthia. We'll find out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to pull another one here. Let's see who we get now. Yemaya. Yemaya. She is an Orisha. Yemaya is a goddess for the Yoruban practices. And what she does, she's the goddess of oceans. And in the deck that I'm talking about, she comes from the place of surrender, of letting go and go with the flow. My experience with Yemaya has been her as a profound protector. If I'm working with somebody who has been defending against the dark arts, basically, somebody has ill-wished them, or they have deep vulnerabilities because of extreme abuse, or they practiced dark magic and now they're paying the price and they want some help. Yemaya will step up. She'll create an extra layer of protection. There's certain practices that I give the person to do to help begin to protect the space and come into a new healing relationship with themselves. So for me, Yemaya is a protector goddess. She's one of my pillars. She's just one of my pillars that shows up in my journey space. So that's my experience of her, but she's actually of the ocean. And one of the practices is with Yemaya is when you want to give thanks or you want to plead your case, you'd make an offering, usually of food and flowers, and release it into the ocean to give to her. So that's Yemaya, and maybe that whole idea of releasing and surrendering and giving it up, just literally giving it up. Maybe that's something that's going to come alive for you this time as we do this work together. I'm going to get one more out. Well, here you go, another Yoruban goddess. This is interesting when a theme shows up like this. Egypt or Africa, because the Yoruban practices came over from Africa to the Caribbean, to Haiti and places like that. So anyway, Oya is that goddess I'm speaking of, and she's pretty fierce. Oya is the goddess of change. Candace, she has kind of a Kali aspect, okay? Take things apart so things can come back together, and it's pretty violent because she storms, okay? The lightning, the hurricane, the wind. Oya brings about change. When we are in our Oya place, we are angry, we are wrathful, we are amped up and charged. We can't sit still. We're whipping around in dance or screaming, or we're working out, we're swimming fiercely or running or doing martial arts. When we're in our Oya phase, we are really churned up water. We are the white water rapids. So Oya might be here for someone to help them harness their feelings, maybe the ones they're not expressing, those shadows that are really stuck down, and they need to move them so they can bring about the change in their life that they really, really need. We will do that. We'll make ourselves miserable rather than make a change because the feelings are too hard. I don't want to feel those feelings, Mara. Don't make me feel them. I don't want to feel the pain of change. And yet, Oya, when she shows up, it's like, yeah, I don't care if you get seasick. We're going for a long voyage. So maybe you have Oya show up, and it's not a bad thing because at the end of a year with Oya, I can't imagine how different your life could be. And I've worked with a lot of different people who have gone ahead and jumped, fully into I'm going to embrace change, and in 1 year have made incredible changes in their lives. So much so that I sit back going, oh, look at you. Oh, now I got to step up my game so I can stay matched with you and how you are working with things in your life. So that is, I'm going to do one more. I'm supposed to do one more. Okay. I love it when I get this card. This is Pachamama. Again, probably, let me see if I could put my hand over that and that helps. No. Pachamama is the Earth Mother. She is a South American goddess. She definitely relates to the Peruvian shamanism that is a great part of what I do. And she's here to bring healing and blessings. basically come home to mama, sink your roots in the ground, take a mud bath, take a nap under a tree with your back against the trunk and your legs splayed out touching the roots. Come back to Pachamama. Put your hand on the stones of the earth and feel her heartbeat moving through you. Pachamama. So if you have a difficult relationship with your mother or with being a mother, then Pachamama could be a wonderful goddess coming in for you, or any earth mother goddess, Gaia, Demeter, Ceres, Pachamama. That these goddesses bring in this different aspect to mother to help you rewrite inside of you what mother means from your personal experiences and woundings, or the lineage that you carry of your mother's mother and her mother's mother and your father's mother and her mother's mother. All that's inside of you. So Pachamama, can you just feel as I talk about her, it gets quieter, it gets calmer. She's like here. That's by saying the name of your goddess, having her photo or artwork of her around you, getting a goddess figurine. You'll see in the altar behind me, like there's a goddess right there, right? That's like a typical Venus, a Waldorf style goddess. There's another goddess here. I think that's Durga hanging out on her lion or tiger, depending on which legend you listen to. And she rode in and slayed all the bad guys. And I have other goddess figures woven into the altar there. All of these things, they're different versions of her power in your life. So put the figurines and other reminders of the goddess around you after you've determined which one she is. Did anybody else already draw their goddess that wants to share what it is? Nope. Okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is take you on a guided journey. And in this guided journey, I am making a suggestion of what's going to happen for you, where you're going to go. If you are an experienced journeyer and your guides take you somewhere else to do something else, please trust that. That's just what's supposed to happen. You're going to get this recording. You can take this again. If you don't see anything, that is okay. You may be one of those folks that doesn't see or visualize. You may instead know. You may not hear so much as the information just lands. You may not learn something so much as remember something. It's all about perspective. It's all about understanding that the way your senses work when you're in a shamanic state is often quite different from our physical experience of the five senses. And if you fall asleep, like one wonderful newcomer on Friday night, she was just so exhausted and tired. She just pushed her butt to even get here. And she fell asleep during the journey, or she fell asleep in the journey. That's a little bit different. If you take a nap while you're in a shamanic journey, but you're still aware of the fact that you're napping, which unless you've done it, you don't know what I mean. And I can't explain it any better than that right now. You're getting a power nap. 15-minute nap in shamanic reality is worth hours of sleep on the outside, which is probably why there's been so many years that I could operate on such little sleep, because I was getting naps in the journey time. So don't worry, there's no way to do this wrong. You're in a place of yamaya, of surrender, of letting go, of being open to what Sophia's wisdom might be dropping in, or Lakshmi's abundance might be dropping. You're just being open and just let it flow, let it go. Does anybody have any questions before I get started on this? 3, 2, One. No questions. That's awesome. So this is how you do the journey. You're going to want to get comfortable somewhere. I don't need to see you. I'm actually going to turn off the monitor so you don't see me. I will be just playing the drum, and I tested this earlier, so I know it works. I'll be playing the drum. Here's my beautiful drum. This is Deer Dancing in the Heart of the Forest. And if you want to make a drum and you're local, we'll be here the last weekend of April making drums. So check my website. There's information on that under the events to make your own drum or rattle. My voice is loud enough for everybody? I guess so. I would have heard by now if it wasn't. Great. Awesome. So be sure that you are in a place where you're super comfortable. You can lay down or you can be sitting up. It's all good. Hang on a second. There we go. And I'm going to turn off my monitor. There we go. So everybody's getting situated now. Wiggling around a little bit, getting comfortable. Whether you're laying down, or maybe you are sitting up but in a super comfortable place. Scan your body from head to toe. Starting from your crown, just imagine yourself like some sort of a medical scanner, but you're just looking at your body and seeing all your energy, however you see yourself, scanning down your body, down your belly, down your legs, all the way to your feet. Just seeing that you're completely and totally present. Good, good. Now we're going to repeat some breaths like we did at the beginning. I'd like you to take a breath really deep. And as you release, let your roots flow down into Mother Earth. Take another deep breath. Deeper, deeper, deeper. And with the exhale, see lines of light reaching up into the sky, touching the stars and your higher self and upper world. Up, 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 up. Take a deep breath. Super deep now. Really getting your belly sticking out there. And now hold it, hold it, hold it. And when you release, let it hiss through your teeth. Let yourself completely follow that breath down your legs. You feel your energy traveling down your legs, following your root, your long, strong taproot. As your consciousness, your energy just flows right into the earth, following the path of your own root, down into the earth, the energetic earth. The dense, soft, muffled sound of the earth below you. The different tastes of the layers, from concrete to soil to rich, loamy earth, and layers of sand and seashells from when we used to be under the water. Going down deeply, past the crust into the mantle of the earth, the ever-shifting mantle, and feeling the warmth because you're closer to the core of the earth now. Feeling yourself go even deeper down, deep, 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 until you connect to that energy network, the ley lines, Mother Earth's system, her own neural net, or one of the layers of it, where everybody else connects. We're all connected there, but now you're aware of that connection. And from there, you feel yourself being pulled into another dimension where industry has not happened, or it did and went past. And instead, the world is wild. And you very quickly move from the root out to land, outdoors, on a wild space. Maybe a plain with waving grasses, or a beach next to the ocean. But you are in a wild space, a wild place, where there aren't people, just land, different plants and trees, perhaps mountains in the distance, and stars, so many stars, way up high, bright, shiny, steel cut, shiny diamond stars above you. As you look around you, at some point you realize there is a forest not too far away. Looking towards the forest, even though it's nighttime, there's plenty of starlight. It casts its own shadow. It's so strong. So you can make out the edges of the individual trees. You can see they're very thickly together. And as you watch, little fireflies suddenly light up. All kinds of fireflies. They're in the branches, they're up in the leaves, they're around the trunks. It makes it look like all the trees have Christmas lights, but better. You've naturally started walking towards these woods, and as you do, you see someone step out of them. And when they step out, it is the Keliach, the wise woman crone, wearing the garb of the forest, homespun and leaves and weavings, with an interesting magical staff in her hand made out of twisted wood and wild things she's tied to it, like moss and spider webs and obsidians. She waves towards you, beckoning you, come be with me. Walk the forest with me. And you do. Because she's a goddess inviting you. And beside her, you may see there is a goddess. Maybe one of the cards that we discussed. Or maybe you pulled a card and that goddess is right there with you. But you see a goddess. You and the Kaliach and this other goddess. It's like the triple goddess now. And you are walking through this forest. And the path winds back and forth. And as it does, you can see there are offshoots. Other paths that you could take. But you don't. You stay on the main road. And as you look down those other paths, you can see other places, communities, other tribes, people of different ages and times, every when and everywhere around the world and beyond it. This forest of the Kaliach can take you many different places. At some point, as you're walking this winding road, you come to an exit and you think, I think this is mine. And both the goddess that showed up for you and the Kaliach stop. And they look at you. And then they look at the road. The off-road, that option that you could take. But now there is no choice. You know you need to walk down that unknown path. They wait for you on the main as you begin to walk down that path, and you notice the sound changes, the light changes. There's a different scent in the air. Maybe it's incense or wood smoke or deep plumeria. Something's changing. You might hear chanting or humming, bells, chimes, gongs, drums. Whatever you hear is right and good. It goes with this place. This place is maybe harder to see than all the others were because it feels like it's more important to you. But as you continue to walk down the path, you come to a place where there is a blockage, some sort of cloak. It could be mist or fog. It could be a piece of cloth that's hung across and blocking the way. But whatever it is, you know that on the other side of it is your personal shamanic goddess for 2024. You know she's there. You're being given this option now. You could turn around and go back, or you could decide to go through and meet her. Well, the courageous part of you is completely in charge today because she says, of course I want to meet her. And you step towards the gauze or the fog, the blockage, and with your hands, you pull it away and open, and you step into the space. And whatever it looks like is okay. It's exactly supposed to look like that. And whoever is there is perfect. It's exactly who's supposed to be there. But also, there is your shamanic goddess, your personal 2024 shamanic goddess. She is there. And the sight of her might bring tears to your eyes and laughter to your heart all at the same time. She may reach out and take your hands. She may grab your head and put hers toward it, third eye to third eye. She may laugh and grab your hand and drag you around in a great whirl, starting a dance. She's there for you. She's your shamanic goddess. Even if you don't recognize her, it doesn't matter. She'll make up a name and tell it to you. She's here bringing you the qualities that you would truly like to have for this year. And she has no limits. You may laugh with her, dance with her, cry with her. She may show you something, like an instrument you could play or already play. A magical working it's time to undertake. And it could very well be something specific to her archetypal medicine. She'll ask you questions. You're supposed to be asking her, but she'll ask you too. Like how can you support her? Here's how we work together. If you want me, you've got to seek me out. You got to call to me. You got to invite me in every day. Whatever she says, whatever she does, eye to eye, heart to heart, hand to hand, a connection grows, a connection builds. So in honoring that connection, you're going to spend a few minutes with her now. You can ask her questions. Listen for the answer. You can ask her if she has some advice for you. Listen to her advice. You can ask her, can you do healing work for me? Receive it and give gratitude. There's so much you can do with her. Spend some time with your shamanic goddess. Go with her. Play with her, ask her questions, watch what she does. Find out what she would like to share with you. Wherever you're at, whatever you've done, however you two have begun your relationship, tell her thank you. Ask her to give you more information about how to be in deep relationship with her, how to honor that relationship, how to continue to work with her. Allow that connection to be nurtured through this next year. Enjoy the healing, the infusion of wonder, of mystery and magic. Tell her thank you. Thank you so much as you begin to withdraw from this space. Stepping back through that magical portal, letting the veil drop back again. Returning to the main path where the Kaliach and your other goddess, or it's the same one, is waiting for you. They're excited for you as if they'd been there and seen what happened. And I guess in a way, the goddess is the goddess, right? But for you, having these different delineations is part of the magic. And you say thank you to them for being your escorts. As you quickly return back to the wild space where you had popped into, carrying with you this new thread of relationship with the goddess. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And feeling yourself shift out of that wild space back to your body, to your roots in the ground. Feeling your consciousness and essence being drawn back up from the earth into your being. Helping you all the way. Come home. Take a breath. Feeling all the parts of you flowing into your physical body. Take another breath. Feeling your energy pour down your arms and legs and make your toes and your fingers tingle. Take another breath. Feeling your body get centered and aligned, maybe popping your shoulders and rolling your neck. Take one more breath. And with the release, come fully home, back to your body. Open your eyes. If you brought a journal, grab your journal. Start recording what you learned when you did this process. And while you're doing that, I'm going to play a little music in the background for you. Okay, I am inviting everybody back from your writing and pondering. I'm curious if anybody had any challenges. Can I help you with that? I'm curious if anybody wants to share what goddess they had. And if you didn't feel like you got a goddess and you want a little more help, I'm curious about that. So feel free to unmute or put into the chat whatever it is that you would like to share right now, because I'm here. I'd love to help, and I know it's good to have a chance to speak your truth, speak your story. It makes the experience more rich for you. It gives other people a perspective on what they may have had, and maybe helps them. And it helps the goddess archetype that you have started to merge with come into relationship with you. And in fact, to that end, I wanted to show you this as my background now, because this represents to me the sisterhood that happens when feminine archetype meets human, or feminine soul hooks up with feminine soul in a way that it supports each other. This is a tree, and I can't show you because I'm not, the way Zoom works, I cannot scroll this down. But in this image, the smaller tree, there's no trunk below it. It was damaged, and it grew. The other tree grew into it, and it keeps it alive. It's crazy, but that's what we do. Is we really do help each other in that way. So, is there anybody who has anything they want to ask or share? What goddess did you get?
I got Durga.
I love Durga. She's fabulous. Have you worked with her before, Jill?
No.
Do you know anything about her?
A little bit. India? From India?
Yeah, she's a Hindu goddess. Do you want me to put you on camera while we talk about this real quick?
Sure. Okay.
All right, hang on. There we go. So Durga is the Hindu goddess, and she has a lot of stories about her. But in the goddess oracle deck, she's used as the goddess of boundaries. She's about you getting really clear what your boundaries are and not allowing other people to influence you, or removing how other people's interjections may be influencing you. When all the gods couldn't figure things out, and there was this big old war in the plains of humanity and amongst all the gods, and they couldn't figure it out, and they couldn't stop the war, they called on Durga. Basically, they had her come clean up the mess. She came down, and she just got all battle crazy and just slew all the demons that were coming up and making the world awful, and brought order back. So Durga is kind of a handy goddess to have in your back pocket. It's an ally, and she represents the feminine, in her feminine power, creating her own space. So however that may fit for you. Does that feel appropriate?
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense.
And then with her as your gateway goddess, other aspects of the goddess come in, but you'll have boundaries around it. And you'll have an advisor to help you say, okay, I'm overgiving here, or I'm taking on too much responsibility here, or I'm kind of letting somebody like just walk in my front door and put their trash in my house. You know, you'll start getting clearer about that, and she'll be, I don't think she's a whispering kind of goddess, though. I think it's a pretty strong influence when Durga shows up for you. So, I mean, you and I know each other, so I can imagine areas that she could be starting to get in your business about. She's not timid. So.
Love it.
Thank you for telling us about your goddess, and I hope that you have fun working with her. You know, always make it fun. This is like when if people go, oh, what do you require, Mara? What are your rules? I really don't have any rules, but I have a high suggestion about make it fun whenever you can. Is there anybody else who has a goddess they want to ask a question about? One of you said you drifted off, but you got some healing. That's awesome. That's not a loss. And you can always, of course, when you get the link, go back and do the journey again. Or you can simply go through a deck of cards, or hook up with someone who has one, or get yourself a goddess deck. I mean, I never think you could have too many goddess decks, and use that to help you dial in what goddess to work with.
Well, with me, I ended up as a getting like Yamaya.
Who is this?
Cynthia.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't have your picture up. Okay, I can't
There
put you in. So, Cynthia, you ended up with who?
Yamaya.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're needing an ally to help you. She's got a different version of protection in her personal work with me, but overall, she is surrender and allowing things to happen and calling on a higher power for help, and a mother goddess. Does that sound something that's been coming in for you that you would really like?
Yeah, for sure. And then also too, one of the interesting things was that the colors like orange and purple were coming in.
Ah, those are strong, strong. Like orange, I always put with the sacral chakra, and purple with the higher chakras, like the crown or the third eye.
Yeah.
So that's pretty important too, connecting those together.
Yeah.
And maybe that's ideas for an altar. One of the things I recommend is create an altar or add her to your existing altar. Although, what goddess wants to share space? So make your altar to your goddess. I'll be working on mine for the Kali, of course. In fact, I already have one started, of course. But yeah, you're gonna want to set up an area that's hers, so she actually has a living space in your home to work with. And it don't have to be all literal, like having a picture. Like I could use a pine cone, and that would totally represent the Kaliak, because pine cone's pregnant with all the possibilities of the new tree, but it requires maturity and fire for that pine cone to be activated. So there's a lot of wisdom in a pine cone, and the magic, the Fibonacci series of numbers, which is part of the spiral of the, it's like an amazing story if you just say a pine cone. So that's great for the Kaliak. So you'll find your own way of expressing and creating for Yamaya. Did she tell you anything about how to connect with her?
Just like a lot of water, and then just kept seeing roses.
That sounds wonderful. So maybe there'll be like a bowl of water and a rose oil or rose petals or something on the altar.
Yeah.
You'll create something, I'll bet. Thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate it. Is there anybody else who has something they want to share or ask about?
I had a lot of goddesses in different parts of my journey. Like walking,
Aha!
we were walking to like a copse of trees, and for a moment the Morrigan came up, and I shied away a little bit. And she said, "I will wait, but I will come." So that was very ominous. But when I got to the copse of trees, Brigid handed me off to Artemis, because Brigid is one of the main goddesses I work with.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And so
And so-
Artemis sat me down next to a spring and said, "I'll take care of you."
It sounds like Artemis is the one you'll be working with right now.
Yes.
Help you strategize some things, right?
Mhm.
But the Morrigan or Morrigan, or however we're going to pronounce it, it sounds like she's going to have you be working with some of your shadow and magic.
Mhm.
We always shy away from that. Oh, it's scary to be powerful. Oh well, you are. Oh, I'm excited for you. You're going to have quite the year.
Yeah.
Don't keep me in the mystery zone. Let me know what happens. Let us know what happens, okay? Thank you so much, Kitty. Is there anybody else before I conclude our evening? I know we're a wee bit over time. I think we did pretty good. I skipped a couple things to keep it shorter for us, so we didn't go to 2 hours. Okay, awesome. You guys were amazing, and thank you for being willing to share your stories so that people who see this afterward can get more of the benefit. I already told you, spend some time, meditate, do shamanic journey if that's your thing, and ask the goddess to keep showing up to support you, especially with the big things. Ask her for help with the little things. Ask her for help with the big things. And whenever you ask, remember you have to listen. And then whatever message you get, you honor it by writing it down so that you can work with it further. That's part of the ritual of the magic, if you will, the honoring of the gift. And the gratitude is the payment. If there's another energy exchange that's being asked, you'll understand. You know, like I was saying with you, Maya, you make an offering to the ocean. This day and age, of course, make it very environmentally conscious. Don't put candy bars in the ocean. Some people like Pele. If somebody were to get Pele, the volcano goddess of Hawaii, she's very fierce and fiery, and people say she likes to have alcohol. So they'll go to the volcano and they'll give a gift, and there'll be alcohol, you know, vodka or some sort of spirits. Yeah, I wouldn't go pour alcohol in the ocean for her or leave a bottle laying around. You know what I mean? So you gotta be thoughtful, and you guys are all intelligent. I know you will be. If you're watching this afterward and you do this work and you have questions, please connect with me. Email me, call me, text me, post something on Facebook or Instagram, because I watch those feeds as well. I'm happy to help you. Cynthia, would you send me an email about your wanting to hear back from Don, so
Yes.
that I can give him your contact info, and do it correctly, so that I can work harder to hook you two up. Anybody who's made drums here before, you've met Don Schultz, and he's our crystal coyote. he's insane and wonderful, but he and his wife both had surprise health challenges last year, and I know that interrupted his workflow. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he lost some messages. So we'll get you guys hooked up. And I can't think of anything else. So I'm going to close our sacred medicine space with deep gratitude to the goddess. Watch for emails. You'll get an automated email at the end of this, but I'll send you one that I've generated that'll have a link so you can play this again, or also some other links to some of the things that I referenced in our discussion tonight, and reminders of cool things coming up, because it's that time to get involved in the trainings and to maybe get a session for you. So thanks again for coming. I'm going to go ahead and close our circle now. Oh, ancestors, we felt your presence with us tonight, and it's been a warmth in our hearts, arms around our shoulders, and a confidence to know that we are supported. Thank you. Aho. Winds of the South, Sachamama, Great Serpent, Element of Fire, and all those of the South who came here tonight in our highest and best good, we honor you and we thank you. Aho. Winds of the North, Ancient Ones, Grandmothers and Grandfathers, Royal Hummingbirds, Sarakente, we honor you for all the gifts that you've given us, for helping us be in right alignment with the present and connected to this earth. It has been our great pleasure to reconnect with you. Aho. Winds of the West, Otorongo Jaguar, an element of water, the cleansing we all seek. All those of the West who came here in our highest and best good tonight, we honor you and we thank you. Aho. And winds of the East, rising sun, element of air, eagle and condor, we felt your presence tonight and your gifts of all the possibilities. Thank you for being here with us. We honor you. Aho. Pachamama, Great Earth Mother, thank you for showing up big time for us so we can know that no matter where we are or when we are always connected through you. Take anything we've shed to release, to compost, to grow new things. Thank you, Mama. Aho. Great Spirit, Father, Son, Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sky, Great Star Nation. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you for everything, for the healing and the love and the magic and the messages and the goddess and more. We're in so much gratitude. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Aho.